Another guy. Do you know do you have a list or ideas to talk about?
I'm just free flowing.
Oh, a man of my own heart. I don't know if I trust your abilities, but let's go for it.
All right, here we are. We're at Matt Biolos' Shaping Bay.
This is a shaping bay?
I mean, I don't know. I guess what would you call it?
This is my office at the Shaping Bay.
Okay, office at the Shaping Bay. Matt Biolos, world-class shaper. My shaper since I was 12 or 13 years old. And we're just going to break down life, break down maybe some surfboards if Matt wants to get into that, but sounds like he wants to go a little deeper. So what do you think, Matt?
I think it's great that you're doing this, putting yourself out there, practicing, thinking. Yeah, good.
Appreciate that.
Always good to see you.
Well, cheers to a little Pacifico. Where should we start?
It's your show.
One of the first things I remember when I started writing for you, I think I was sponsored by Billabong and you guys were just starting to kind of shape boards for me, and I was getting trade-ins, and I remember being in the car with my dad, and I think we got on a phone call with you and we said like, oh, Billabong doesn't want to have the Lost logo on the board, and you were like, Taj bro doesn't even like say anything about that. Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember it particularly, but it didn't surprise me. It wouldn't, we went through it with Billabong. I was probably a little surprised that a kid like 12, maybe 13 is already getting that kind of pressure.
Yeah. I also remember, I think I rode Channel Islands I think I got like 8 Channel Islands when I was like 14.
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah.
No.
And I remember I think I got some Channel Islands and then my last board started sucking because I was like, oh, maybe he's all pissed off that I'm trying these Channel Island boards.
Yeah, I don't even remember that ever happening.
Yeah. But yeah, they ended up not being as good as your boards, so. But thank God I stayed with Lost because...
It fits.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah. There's always little kids coming up, oh, their parents get them boards, or somebody finds them boards. Maybe it was like the team manager at Billabong asked me to make them boards. Whoever, I don't even remember who brought you to us. And then I start seeing you surfing, you're like, oh, his stance looks a little more solid than most of the other kids. And you can see flashes of what's to come and a little more. And it was you and Colin were like ripping it up, making all the finals and winning all those little kid events. And it's a long journey. It's like a farm system. You just kind of have to see who blossoms over time. And a lot of kids just sort of don't get to that 5th gear, and a lot of kids get distracted and go the other way. And so sometimes I feel like we've had a pretty good track record of finding the right kids at a young age.
Mm-hmm. Besides the era now with Lost surfboards, what would you say has been your favorite era?
Well, now it's pretty amazing. It's crazy that I'm 55 years old and we're on such a high, and it's all it's because of you guys and the fact that our organization's able to keep up with you guys and what happened here with your generation, and Kaloe a few years above you and your brother and his friends a few years younger than you. You're right in the middle of it, but it's crazy special. I've never experienced, and nor really has maybe anyone except maybe the Gold Coast experienced a surge like this, what you guys are doing in a town. But it's awesome. But obviously those days with Chris Ward and Corey Lopez living on our couch in our living room, and us learning how to make surf movies, and me learning how to make competitive level boards for the two of the hottest teenage kids in the world at the time. And just bouncing off the walls. I was like your age when we were doing that. That's the crazy thing that no one can realize. Like 1994, I was 25 years old. I was younger than you. We were making surf movies, shaping boards for these kids, and they were becoming world famous, and we were like the dark, evil sidekick, underground version of the Momentum generation. We were doing all that. Mike and I were younger than you. Chris and Corey were like 8, 9 years younger than us, 15, 16, 17. The ride with Carissa and Kalohe, when they went from 15-year-old phenoms to world, beaters and the world tour and world championships with Carissa, that was pretty amazing. And you were enamored with that. You were like the kid tagging along, like soaking it all in.
Yeah. And
we knew right away, by the time you were 18, okay, he's next, he's going to do it. He's got the head, he's got the physical ability, he's got the personality. It's going to be another run. I used to think, oh, I literally said in an interview once that when Corey Lopez retires, I'm going to retire. I'm not going to do this stuff forever. And he retired 15 years ago, and like for me, it's just still going and going and going.
What is it that like motivates you every day? Like when you wake up, like what's your motivation? Where do you get
There's a
your
lot of
motivation?
motivations. There's the motivation of everything you guys do and supporting you guys and seeing you have success, you, the girls, the other guys. There's that competitive motivation. It's absolutely a big part of our business. It's a huge part of our marketing. You know, what you guys do is kind of like the outside facing visual icing on the cake, making team boards for pro surfers. You know, we did almost 100 of them this last month leading into the Hawaiian season for, you know, the 10 of you that are on tour and the half a dozen or more free surfers and QS guys, girls. That's a big like outward facing motivation. Like you get to get good feedback and consistency there and drive surfboard design and be cutting edge. But I'm also motivated by paying my mortgage and feeding my family and also living a good life myself. You know, like I love to go on surf trips and go snowboarding and you know, do really cool, fortunate things.
You obviously have to deal with a lot of relationships, like owning a business like this, and there's so many moving pieces. How do you, you know, approach your employees? And I mean, part of the reason why Lost Surfboards is doing so well is because like the team that you've built and how everyone, you know, seems to really love their job as well. Like it can't just be you loving your job and everyone else hates it. Like obviously it's like a huge group effort. And what is it like? One or two things that like...
One thing is there's no I in we.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we did this. But they feel like they're part of something when they see guys like you walk in or with the trophy, or when Cole walked in with the bell, you know, 6-8 months ago. It's just like the whole company like lit up. It's really cool. Or when you're running, you know, when you're making finals back-to-back years and everyone rallies around that. So they get involved, they get into it. I bring up this trip we did together when Kaloe was like kind of at his peak, and I think he crushed it in France that year. He was beating everybody. He got like third or second or something. I think it was third. And then it was me, you, and Kaloe sharing a little place on the beach at Gravier, and you were a teenager, and you were like so wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, and asking me so many questions. It was like, come on, kid, you bother me. You bother me. Nonstop. And then to watch you till now, I think you've asked me more questions in the last half hour than you have in the last 2 years. Like you became your own man, and you underwent like quite a transformation from that kid who was just soaking everything in like a sponge. It's like you soaked it all in like Terminator and assimilated this human that you became, and now you're out there and you're the leader and you're doing the talking and the directing and showing all this next generation of kids like how to live this calm, clear-headed, but I know you still get loose, which is great, which is our culture. Life, you know, this life you're living and you're winning. Balance. and you're living clear and clean and healthy, and it's quite a transformation. What do you credit that to? Like do you understand that? Do you see that you've changed that much, and if so, what do you credit that to?
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I credit to like getting to like know myself better, and yeah, like asking everyone questions and taking pieces from everyone, like, and so I feel like I've just been able to create my own person that has a lot of different personalities, and I don't know, it just makes life fun. I feel like I could tap into like a Kelly mindset, or I could tap into like a Wardo mindset, depending on like
Wardo mindset can be more fun. The Kelly mindset's usually more effective.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, it's like comp time, I'm gonna tap into my like Kelly mindset, or like, oh, I'm on a free surf trip, like I'll tap into like my Wardo mindset or Andy mindset. But obviously a little more reserved than those guys. Those guys definitely sent it a lot harder, but yeah, just like playing around with that.
Great.
Yeah. Slowly like starting to become like a mentor for the next generation's been interesting one, really fun, And I felt like I got a lot of experience doing that with Crosby, being 3 years older than him, just like always being a role model for him and kind of like coaching him in life and stuff. And now there's so many like kids below me, like Cannon Carr, and there's Jet Schilling and Cade Matson and Cole Houshman, all like 3 years younger than me and below. And you know, just like learning how to lead by example, and you know, that seems like the best thing you can do. But sometimes it's, you know, if someone's like kind of blowing it, you kind of want to have to like say
Tough love.
yeah, tough love, and give them like the hard truth. But it can be hard because just telling someone the hard truth can be hard on both sides. So just like learning how to go about that's been interesting. But yeah, it's a good journey. Sure.
I think all those guys have benefited from having you around. There's not even a doubt. It's not that I think, I know. Leading by example, I mean, obviously you do that competitively. It's just blatant. When you win, you're leading by example. But I think your demeanor and your calm demeanor and your happy-go-lucky sort of like, me worry kind of way of going through life is also a very strong leadership role. It's a very good example to show that you're not incredibly caught up in it, and you're not afraid to be goofy or say funny things or dress weird or dance or whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And we see that, and I personally see it as a good leadership role, because a lot of times athletes, especially in the world I know best, the surfing athletes, a lot of times people get so caught up in their career that they're afraid to like do anything. And it seems like you've done both. You've done a pretty good job of going out and enjoying other parts of life and not just singularly focusing on competitive surfing. And I think that's as good of an example as you can give as winning contests, actually.
Thank you.
It's not about the end result, it's about the journey. You know, and it's like day to day here in this business, it's the same thing. Like, hey, we have to do this. And like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that. Well, if we do, we'll sell more boards. I don't care. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm going to Mammoth for 2 weeks, and you're going to deal with it. Or I'm going to Indo, and you're going to deal with it. And I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to be a slave to the business day after day after day, and not enjoy the journey, forsake the fun just to have that end result and say, oh, I sold more surfboards than anyone.
Yeah. And then in turn, like, because you're just enjoying it so much, like, more abundance like comes into your life.
More people want to be around it.
Yeah. And then all these things start coming to you that you weren't even expecting.
Yep, because you're living the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And good things happen.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, Matt.
Cheers.
If you had any advice for Crosby and I, you know, getting deeper into the Cola Bros and creating something out of that, do you have any advice for us?
I think the way you're doing it is great. You're doing your recaps, event. And the ones, if you guys both kind of bomb out or don't have a great event, they tend to be shorter. Maybe you highlight a friend who had a good run and you show the lifestyle. And I look forward to your recaps of the events, especially the ones where you guys do good. You know?
Yeah, thanks.
El Salvador was kind of a high and a low there for that, where you served fantastic, but you bombed out in the comp. I think the only thing, if I was going to be hypercritical, is like you, Cole, Crosby, and whoever's hanging out with you guys will go do something together, and then you all like post the same lifestyle stuff. It's like you guys all share your photos, so it's like a video of Griffin ripping a wave, and then 7 or 8 other slides of like the same 7 or 8 slides that Crosby does, and the same ones that Cole does, and the same, and whoever else the first half of the year with Eli and Cade and all that. And it's just like, okay, you guys, like maybe like quit sharing all your own, you know, like people want to see the individuality within the group.
Yeah.
You know, like you and Crosby are very different guys. You know, like my relationship with Crosby is different than my relationship with you. Like poke at him and stab at him, and we joke and we talk kind of dirty about, you know, little sinister things. And he's like a little rotten boy, you know.
Oh, yeah,
he's like,
for sure.
And then you're more like, you know, it's just like, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a different relationship. And I think that on your social media, sometimes it looks like you're all the same fucking person.
Yeah.
And maybe if you asked me, that's my answer, is individually within the group, show yourselves who you are.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great.
You're all like, Dubai.
Yeah, that's great feedback.
You know?
No, it's actually funny you said that because I was on the plane yesterday with my friend Jacob Atwood, and I was just making like a little post, and I was showing him, and he's like, "What, are you gonna put any photos of you on the top of that building?" Because we all went to like the tallest building in the world.
Yeah, I went there.
And I was like, "No,
Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, Burj Khalifa." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, that's played out already." Because I'm like kind of catching on to that already, but
Yeah.
that's good advice. But it's good times, and
Great.
thank you for the chat and the wisdom. Appreciate it.
Thank you for including me.
Yeah.
Now we gotta get some work done.
2025, here we come. Oh, we were on a little flow.
What?
We kind of flowed right there.
Yes. Yeah, you just go.
That was epic. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a guru.